Shalom, brothers and sisters. Grace, mercy, and peace be unto you from Yahuwah, our Father, and Yahusha. He's the Mashayah, you know, the one that carries the burden of Yah, his voice, our high priest, soon coming King. Hear, O Yeshua, Yahuwah, who is our mighty one. He is one. There is no other mighty one, brothers and sisters, than Yahuwah. And Yahusha is his voice. This is Brother Dawood returning with Goog and the 1,000-year reign. This is part 3. The kings and the rulers of the earth. What was the question from part 2? What made them so desperate that they decided to come into the promised land once more to destroy the children of Yeshua? Your answer will be in this part. Look, the countries of the world, the United Nations. There's 193 countries in the United Nations. Out of 193, there's only 5 who have any real power. They are USA, China, Russia, the United Kingdom, and France. They are above all of the rest of the nations. In order for me to reveal what's going to happen to the kings and the rulers of the earth and all of these nations in the time or the beginning of the 1,000-year reign, I have to go to a sacred book, a book that was preserved for a righteous race that would arise in the last days. Hanuk. Here's an image of Hanuk in Wikipedia. He's brown. There's some things that they say about the book of Hanuk that we must understand before we proceed. They say it's apocryphal. What does that mean? It means that they doubt its authenticity. Who doubts it? The church. Why? Because they say it's not canon. What is canon? Canon is a rule by which things or something is judged. What rule are they judging the book of Hanuk by? Christian doctrine. May I ask you a question, if you know? Which came first, the book of Hanuk or Christian doctrine? I rest my case. Here's the last one. They say that the book of Hanuk is only dated to 300 BC. Who said this? The white man. Why did he say this? Because this was around the time when they came into the promised land to steal, to kill, and destroy. And it's the first time that they discovered this book. I want you to remember something. Nothing is discovered until the white man discovers it. But the book of Hanuk goes all the way back to the time of Jared, to the time of Methuselah, all the way back to the time of Noah. But they say, who said? The white man? You can only date it to 300 BC. So they took it out of the book altogether. Why? Because it reveals who they are, who they worship, and how they have circumvented Yah's incorruptible timepieces. Now, here's one more thing I have to tell you. In 2017, my Sky Brothers led me to the Book of Enoch. They told me to take the Book of Enoch and go out and check, try, and prove it with the luminaries. I did so. It is accurate to the letter. What did they want me to see? They wanted me to see that this book is truly authentic. And the people who say that it's not are corrupted. Let's begin. Enoch, chapter 62, 1-3. Fasten your seatbelts. I'm going to show you the parallel between the book of Enoch and your Bible. It is uncanny. And this was written in the time of Noah. 1. Thus Yahuwah commanded the kings and the mighty and the exalted and those who dwell on the earth and said, open your eyes, lift up your horns. Remember, that's power. Your crowns, kingship, rulership. Are you able to recognize the elect one? He's telling them to look upon him whom they have pierced. Is that in the New Testament? 2. And Yahuwah of spirits seated him. Who is him? The elect one. Yahusha, the Mashayah, on the throne of his glory. Is that in the Old Testament, in the book of Daniel, chapter 7? We saw the ordination. And the spirit of righteousness was poured out upon him. Did we not see in the New Testament that the Spirit was poured out upon Yahusha, whose Spirit was poured out upon him? The Spirit of Yahuwah. And the word of his mouth slays all the sinners. It's sharper than a two-edged sword. What did Yahusha say while he was on the earth? He said, the words that I speak are not my own, but they are my Father's who have sent me. And all the unrighteous are destroyed from before his face. Judgment. When he comes, there shall be judgment. Judgment begins with the children of Yesharo. 3. And there shall stand up in that day all the kings and the mighty, and the exalted, and those who hold the earth. And they shall see and recognize how he, who is he? Yahusha, sits on the throne of his glory. That's going to be frightening, isn't it? And righteousness is judged before him. Isn't he the righteous judge? And no lying word is spoken before him. He knows the answer before he even asks the question. 4. Then shall pain come upon them as a woman in travail. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. when her child enters the mouth of the womb and she has pain in bringing forth. My mother told me about this pain. She called it the pain of death. 5. And one portion of them shall look on the other. Let's just speak about the 5 superpowers. And they shall be terrified, and they shall be downcast of countenance, and pain shall seize them. You know, the pains of death, like a woman bringing forth a child. Why? When they see the Son of Man, not the Son of God, the Son of Man, Yahusha, bin Yahusep, sitting on the throne of his glory. Why would pain seize them? He didn't turn out to be blonde-haired, blue-eyed, white guy, as they depicted him. They're going to see him. They're going to say, he looks just like these Negroes that we took captive. 6. And the kings and the mighty and all who possess the earth shall bless and glorify and extol him who rules over all. Note that at the name of Yahusha, every knee should bow, of things in heaven and things on earth and things under the earth, and that every tongue shall confess that Yahusha, Ha-Mashayah, is the landlord, and he is the king over all these kings, and he was hidden. 7. From the beginning, the Son of Man was hidden. You see, there's no Son of God here. God is not mentioned. They don't say he's the Son of Theos. That's the derivative from the New Testament, where they got God from, as they say. He is the Son of Man. He was hidden from the foundation of the earth. And the Most High preserved him in the presence of his might. After he was murdered, he was taken up into the heavens. He was taught the hidden things. He was instructed in the priesthood. He is the one who is making continual intercession on our behalf, and revealed him to the elect. That's how we know. We know that we have a high priest, Yahusha, who is the Mashayah, who is in the heavens, making continual intercession for us on the new moons, on the Shabbat, and on the feast days. He has all of the pertinent sacrifices handled. He has been revealed to the elect. Who the elect? Ecclesia in the New Testament, the called out ones, who were called out of darkness into its marvelous light. Only the children of Yesharo. 8. And the congregation of the elect and the holy shall be sown. We shall be gathered. We shall be planted in the promised land. We will not be uprooted again. And all the elect shall stand before him on that day. We're going to be there, in the meeting place, when all of the kings, the mighty, the exalted, and those who rule the earth will show up. 9. And all the kings and the mighty and the exalted and those who rule the earth shall fall down before him on their faces. We're going to witness this. and worship, speak well of him, and set their hope upon the Son of Man, and petition him, and supplicate for mercy at his hands. Note, mercy presupposes guilt. If they're going to supplicate him for mercy, they're admitting that they are guilty. 10. Nevertheless, Yahuwah, the master of all these spirits, will so press them. Brother Daoud, what do you mean press them? Have you ever been in the court of law? When a person throws himself upon the mercy of the court, he's asking for a plea deal. All of the articles of the indictment must be read before the court. You want to hear some of them? You came into my temple. You sacrificed a pig on the altar to Zeus. You profaned my people, made them unclean in every way. I sent them a Mashaya, one to bring them back to me. You oppressed him. You colonized them. You beat him to a pulp. You hung him on a tree. Later on, you took my people captive. You had them in the lands of your captivity for 400 years. And everything you did to my Mashaya, you also did to them. Look what happened. They hastily went forth from his presence. It was too much for them. And their faces shall be filled with shame. And as they contemplated on all of the crimes that they had committed, the darkness grew deeper on their faces. 11. And he, who is he? The master of the universe, the creator of all things, Yahuwah, who is the master of all spirits, will deliver them to the angels for punishment. Vengeance is mine, saith Yahuwah, to execute vengeance on them, because they have oppressed his children and his elect. 12. And they shall be a spectacle for the righteous and for his elect. A spectacle? Have you guys ever seen Game of Thrones? Did you see the episode where Cersei had to do the perp walk? They stripped her butt naked, and she had to walk through the crowds. And as she walked through, they chanted, "Shame, shame, shame." Some of them picked up rotten fruit and hit her with it. Shame. Others spit on her. Shame. Some picked up horse dung and threw it in her face. Shame on you for what you have done to my people and to my elect one. And they, let me change this word they, to we, because we're going to be there. If you overcome, shall rejoice over them. You're not going to feel sorry for them. It's going to be a time of great rejoicing, because the wrath of Yahuwah of spirits is resting upon them now. And his sword is drunk with their blood. He has put down all the uprisings. Remember, the nations are going to come together to go to battle against Yahusha when he comes in the clouds. 13. And the righteous and elect shall be saved on that day. On this day? Yes, on this day. On this day, you shall know that he is Yahuwah, the one that cannot lie. He said it would come to pass, and here it is. And they shall never thenceforth see the face of the sinners and the unrighteous. Halal Yahuwah. Praise his name. 14. And Yahuwah, the master of all spirits, he will abide over them. He shall protect us. No weapon formed against us will prosper. We shall be at peace. None shall make us afraid any more. And with the Son of Man, our King, he was first a prophet. When he ascended into heaven, he became our high priest. When he comes back to earth, he shall be the king over all these kings, and he shall be the landlord. We shall eat and lie down and rise up with him forever and ever. He's our brother. Did he not say he will not be able to partake of the fruit of the vine until he returns? He has returned now, and he has taken his throne. 15. And the righteous and the elect shall have risen from the earth. Here's the resurrection. He said the dead shall rise first. Hey, they were in the meeting. They saw the kings and the rulers of the earth bow down. They saw them take the purple walk. They participated in the spectacle. What did they say? Shame. Shame. Shame on you. And cease to be downcast in countenance. Of course. Vengeance has been taken. They don't have to ask anymore. How long? And they shall have been clothed with garments of glory. They have their new bodies. Isn't all of this in the New Testament? 16. And these shall be the garments of life from Yahuwah of spirits. You have to earn these garments. They're not going to be given freely, and definitely not to those who do not keep his commandments. And your garments shall not grow old. You shall live forever, nor your glory pass away. From Yahuwah of spirits. Hinuk 63. 1-3. This is part 2. Part 2 of what? The judgment. 1. In those days shall the mighty and the kings who possess the earth implore him. Implore who? Yahusha, Mashayah. Now he is a Yahusha, the King of kings, and he is the landlord. To grant them a little respite, could you give us a little rest, a little peace from your angels that are exacting punishment to whom we were delivered? Why? Here's their excuse. So that we might fall down and worship before Yahuwah of spirits and confess our sins before him and that we may bless and glorify Yahuwah of spirits, and say, Blessed is Yahuwah of spirits, and Yahuwah of kings, and Yahuwah of the mighty, and Yahuwah of the rich, and Yahuwah of glory, and Yahuwah of wisdom. I thought you said that his name was too sacred to utter. I guess you've learned that there's no salvation without uttering his name. 3. And splendid in every secret thing is your power, from generation to generation, and your glory forever and ever. Deep are all your secrets, they are innumerable, and your righteousness is beyond our reckoning, beyond our thought process, beyond all imagination. 4. We have now learnt that we should glorify and bless Yahuwah of kings, and him who is king over all kings. How did they learn? The kingdom suffered violence, and the white man took it by force. Now Yahusha, him who is king over all kings, has come with the 144,000 and the angels from heaven, and they took it back by force. It is the only thing that the white man understands. Now they have learned that they should speak his name and glorify him also, who is king over all kings. What are they going to say? 5. Could we have just a little rest so that we may glorify and give thanks, so that we may confess our faith before his glory? Note, do they know who they're talking to? Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Faith without works is dead. So by them saying that they want to confess their faith, it's empty without works. 6. And now we long for a little rest, but we can't find it. We follow hard upon and obtain it not. We're seeking it out in the daytime with a flashlight. But light has vanished from before us. At the end of the tunnel, there's only darkness. And darkness is our dwelling place forever and ever. Now they have realized the consequences for their transgressions against Yahuwah, against Yahusha, and against Yah's people. 7. For we didn't believe in him before. You think? Nor did we glorify the name of Yahuwah of all spirits. But our hope was in the scepter of our kingdom and in our glory. Note, they are confessing their transgressions. When you ask for mercy in the court of law, right, Brother Dash? You have to stand there and confess all of your crimes. This is what they're doing now. 8. And in the day of suffering, our suffering, and tribulation, he didn't come to save us. And we find no respite, no rest, so that we can confess that our Master is true in all his works and in his judgments and his justice, and his judgments have no respect of persons. He doesn't care whether you're a king, a ruler, a tribal leader, a warlord. He doesn't care whether your skin is white or black or brown. He has no respect of persons. If you have transgressed his laws, if you have transgressed against his people, if you have even had a little part in the oppression of the children of Yasharal, judgment shall be yours. 9. And we pass away from before his face on account of our works. They have faith, but their works speak of something else. What does their works speak of? They've come but to steal, kill, and destroy. And all our sins are reckoned up in righteousness. They could not see their transgressions before, because their hope was only in the scepter of their kingdom and in their own glory. But now, since righteousness has come, and Yahusha is seated upon his throne, and he's judging the world in righteousness, now their sins have become evident before them. 10. Now they shall say unto themselves, our souls are full of unrighteous gain. They're confessing. They're giving you the articles, at least some of them, that are in the indictment. But it does not prevent us from descending from the midst of you into the burden of Sheol, into the bottomless pit. 11. And after that their faces shall be filled with darkness and shame before the Son of Man, the one whom they have pierced, and they shall be driven from his presence. Mercy denied, and the sword shall abide before his face in their midst. 12. Thus spake Yahuwah of all spirits. This is the ordinance and judgment with respect to the mighty and the kings and the exalted and those who possess the earth before Yahuwah of spirits. They learned too late, didn't they? The time to return is now. And if you're not one of the children of Yasharal, the time for you to come before him, love his name, and keep his commandments, so that you may sojourn with us, that time is now. In order for you to sojourn with us, you have to love us. And you have to understand and embrace this principle. Your life will be filled with service. You will have to serve us, you and your children, from generation to generation to generation. That is the penance for the crimes in which you and your ancestors have done. Did you think that you were going to escape your ancestors' crimes? There is no escape. You're caught here with these nations, caught with your pants down. Everyone's going to see your nakedness. Go back to 10. Our souls are full of unrighteous gain. They've admitted their guilt. They went around the world raping, pillaging, and destroying. And their focus was on melanated people. Isn't that something? Emmanuel Macron, the French president, prime minister, just want to give you an example of their souls being so full of unrighteous gain. This is happening right now. They just pulled out of Niger. They were taking uranium from the ground. It's worth 200 plus pounds. But they were only giving the people in Niger 89 cents. Our souls are full of unrighteous gain. They're going to look upon each other. They're going to say, uh-oh, the chickens have come home to roost. The tables have turned. Now we are the colonized ones. And this shall go on for 1,000 years. Continue to part 4. We shall end it there. Shalom.